Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I hope you are having a great day. Happy hump day. Okay. Almost the weekend. It has been a long week already, but we are pressing through, and I hope you are pressing too. I'm just going to jump right in today because I have a lot I want to cover, just because I want to wrap the Who Are You Serving series up, and I want to honor every age group, especially when it comes to ministry and service and how we go about serving these different age groups. So yeah, service. And I think it's so important that we take time to encourage leaders to consider this fact, because I think so many times we just get wrapped up in leading and getting people to where they need to be and that we forget that people are coming with stuff. And how we engage them and their stuff really makes a difference in how they receive what we want to give them from a ministry perspective. And no, we don't stay there. We don't get stuck there. We ask God to help us to continually move forward. But I believe that even Christ was mindful of who he was serving. And while he told people to leave their past and to walk away and follow him, he also ministered to them right where they were. I think about the woman at the well. He ministered right to where she was, sin and all. And that's the clearest example I can think of in what I'm trying to share with you now, because I think we really have to be more diligent about that. So let's talk about the babies and recap them. That Alpha generation and that Gen Z generation. So that's your people who aren't even here yet, because 2025 is the cutoff for Alpha. So 0 to 10, if I'm doing the math right with Siri, so give or take, be a little gracious, it's Alpha, and 11 to 26 is Z, Gen Z. And so let's just remember that in each of these generations, actions speak way louder than words. They are watching what we do. And so we have to be mindful how we engage them and entreat them, even when they're on our last nerve. Because let me tell you, honey, my God. And I love young people. If you know me, you know I love young people. And sometimes I just be looking at them like, y'all are something special, okay? And I know people look at me like, y'all are something special. So I understand and love beyond. So remembering that, ask God for grace as we're dealing with them, but specifically those babies. I mean, they are learning, right? And we all were at that space. Remember, a child shall lead them. A child shall lead them. And so we have to remember that sometimes our babies are going to show us the way if we pay attention, if we watch, and we are willing to be humble and adapt. Just like our babies, that Gen Z, we'll start with the positives, okay? We have to remember to listen to them, because they do have a voice, and what they have to say matters and can really serve us, especially when trying to reach that generation, because the 20s is so hard sometimes. And they're very bold. They're very bold in their convictions and what they feel. And while they need guidance and they need our direction, I think because of the generation and the age they're growing up in, it's very, I know myself, I am who I am, you're not gonna change me and stuff. We have to pray, because a lot of things are being thrown at them. And while some things are good, we know as adults who have more experience close to their age and further from their age, that they have to walk through a journey. And so instead of trying to force them or make them understand your viewpoint or understand, it's imperative that we pray and ask God for guidance on how to direct them. So those are the babies, that Alpha and that Gen Z. So I want to jump right into millennials. I am a millennial, or some people might say Generation Y, but we are better known as millennials. And as my little sister would say, I don't really get along with millennials, but I get along with you. Can you guess what generation she's in. I love you, Dukes. So, I am a millennial that is, again, be gracious with math. That is age 27 to 42. And so I am smack in the middle, basically, of that age group. And I am so moved by the fact that we are a generation who are change makers. We are chain breakers. We dive into things with perspective of we want things to be different. We don't want to do things same old, same old. We have a great opportunity to truly decide whether we're going to be stagnant or whether we're going to do things in a different way that's going to make more of an impact. And I think that's so important, especially as, even though our parents, they got it a little bit better than our siblings, the individuals who were born just after, who I'm going to honor in a moment, but our parents understood their assignment a little bit better by the time they got to us. I know I can say that for myself because I've had very open conversations with my family about that. And so I think we have opportunity to say, let's continue to pour into the generations below us and those to come, that you don't have to suffer the same way that your parents did or their parents did or their parents did or their parents did, who we will honor next week. But we can choose to make a difference. So I just want to encourage all the millennials, to really consider what you want to change within your life, right? And I want to encourage leadership, to make sure that you're mindful of the fact that most of them are not in the box thinkers like myself. It's very out of the box. It's very imaginative. You think big, and sometimes living in the world we live in and with our parents, and even those just above us, you can sometimes be stifled. So being mindful to give them space and opportunity to really imagine and provide their insight and perspectives into, this could be better. Not just for us and those before us, but even the generation coming. So I'm so grateful to be a millennial, okay? And I say that because I think I've gotten great gems from Gen X. And I will say that most of my siblings, no, all of my siblings, with the exception of one, I believe at this point, are all a part of that Gen X generation. That's 43 to 58. And, I look at them like, y'all are some survivors, okay? Y'all survived a lot of mistakes, a lot of things that people just didn't know. They didn't get it right, especially when you think about ministry. You did things such a traditional way that sometimes you stifle what God, I'm using that word, but you stifle what God can do in a person, what he wants to do in a person for the sake of tradition and what we believe is right, which most of the time turns out to be religiosity. But at the same time, while they had these traditional values, Gen X, they're toe tippers, right? It's like, let me try it, okay? Let me test it out. And I know a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, I went out, I did that, I tried it, but I just knew that wasn't it, that wasn't gonna work, But they gave a door for people like myself, millennials, to be like, we're going all the way through. And whether we mess up or not, because that's one of our characteristics, it's like, we're gonna go for it. And so I do give that to the Gen Zers, that they really made us be confident, because they themselves decided to try to do something different, and to step out the box. And just as our parents got it a little better, millennials, by the time we came, I think that our parents were still figuring it out. They were babies themselves, or, they didn't have the best upbringing and training, and they raise their children with those lenses, and they could be different. A lot of people have different experiences. This is in no way, shape, or form, a all and be all, but it is definitely a thought that when you doing it the first time around, maybe even second time around, you're figuring it out. And so, maybe at some point I'll share part of my story with that, because, I am the only child of both of my parents, and I have siblings on both sides from my mother and my father. We've had conversations about the fact that, if they could, they would do it different, or they would try to be more open about the way they saw things and understood things. And that's just part of life. That's just part of what each of us go through. And we have to be grateful that God gives us opportunity to rethink, to re-engage, and revisit oftentimes relationships and how we've done them. We just have to be grateful, because not everybody gets that. Some people, they go forever never acknowledging, never addressing. And I think as leaders, when we are serving these generations, we have to give space for that, because people are hurt and people want to heal. I believe, especially in Millennial and Gen X, they want to heal, but you cannot heal. I heard a great analogy today through a podcast. You cannot heal until you cover, of course, clean and cover a wound so that it can, get the inner healing and the inner workings taken care of, and then expose it so that fresh air and newness can come in and really allow that wound to be free and to continue to cover and scab over. A little, but scab over, so that it not only can start fading, and you can start that process of making, it look less big and whatnot. Y'all know what I'm saying. It just doing that, covering and exposing in a safe space. You're much more cautious once you expose and it's still healing. But that's just it. It is healing. So I think we have to be very mindful of that with these generations, so that not only are we allowing them to heal, but we're being mindful that we don't send the younger generations, Gen Z and Alpha generation, and those generations to come through the same ringer, because we didn't take time to be diligent and get it right. So I'm not going to hold y'all long, because I knew this would be a little bit longer, because I want to make sure that we wrap this up. But please share this with your leaders. Please share this with people that you think could benefit from hearing it. And next week, we will end it by talking about baby boomers and the silent generation, who we all have to honor, and take care of and respect. Because not only are they survivors, but they the OGs, right? They done been here, they done that. And even in their fallacies, they got us here, and we're doing well, and we're on our journeys of healing, and we're on our journeys of greatness. So we have to give honor where honor is due. So I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next video.